welcome back, welcome, whichever. I like to do a lot of different things. Right now, I'm going to do a book review on a book called An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I'm not going to get into too many details, but if you have not read the book, you may not want to watch this. Not really sure. But anyways, I would give this book like a 2, at the max 3 stars. I wasn't a big fan. I'll be honest, she had a lot of great plot twists. She had a lot of good turning points and surprising factors in the book that made it interesting. Like basically Roy doesn't know who the one of the main characters is. Roy, he doesn't know who his father is, and we eventually find out who he is. I'll read the back of the book for you guys. A captivating love story that is also a clear-eyed look at the effects of injustice in contemporary American life. Tayari Jones' novel gorgeously chronicles 3 people who are bound together and separated by forces beyond their control. As newlyweds, Celestial and Roy are living an American dream. He's a young executive and she's an artist on the brink of an exciting career. But after Roy's incarceration for a crime he did not commit, Celestial, bereft and unmoored, turns to a childhood friend and Roy's best man, Andre, for support. As Roy's acting drags on, Celestial faces soul-wrenching decisions about balancing loyalty with independence, desire with social and familiar expectations, and what is right and what is fair and to whom. Gripping, timely, and masterful, An American Marriage looks deep into the souls of people who must reckon with the past while moving forward with hope and pain into the future. Now, after reading this, I was like, no, I don't want to read it. It's the typical, she slept with somebody else while her man was locked up. I feel like it was going to be very basic and corny, honestly. Just being completely honest, that's why I did not want to read it. But when I read it, it wasn't. I wish that the synopsis on the back would have been described differently because I feel like it made it too obvious. I feel like the back of the book, the synopsis should not have included Andre's name at all. I feel like it should have just been about the marriage itself, basically the trials and how imprisonment can affect marriage. That's what I feel the back of the book should have been. Because by including Andre, it made it obvious what would happen. To what degree? No. But it made it obvious that something was going to happen between her and Andre. It was just a typical story. And that's what made it unappealing to me. And it also took away from a lot of the suspense factor in the book. Because it's like you're already expecting her to mess with Andre. So it's just like, okay, now it's just about getting to what the question just becomes, to what extent does she mess with Andre and how does the book end? That's really the only question that's posed because you already know she's going to mess with Andre. You already know Roy's going to get locked up. You already know that he didn't do it. Doesn't it say he doesn't do it? Yeah, it tells you that Roy didn't commit the crime. Tells you that he's going to get locked up. It tells you that, basically makes it obvious that she's going to mess with Andre. But a lot of it just was very, very obvious. Now, let's be clear. Andre was never Roy's friend. Roy and Andre were in the. If you've been to college, you know the difference between friends and people you went to college with. Him and Roy happened to live. They went to Morehouse, and Celestial went to Spelman. Him and Roy lived in the same dorm, and they were next door to each other in the same dorm building. Roy would come over there and ask for money, and then they tried to pledge. They didn't make line. They tried to pledge a fraternity for those that don't know what I'm talking about. They tried to pledge and they didn't make line, which means they didn't make it into the fraternity. That's all they did together. That's it. After college, they were no longer in contact until after Roy happened to run into Celestial. Roy ran into Celestial on business. They started dating. They got married. That's how Andre came back into Roy's life. So we're not going to make it like he was Roy's friend and played Roy. Now, like I said, finding out who Roy's father was a good plot twist. I really respected Celestial's father because once Celestial and Andre started dating, her father was not for it at all. They actually ended up getting engaged, and her father was not for it at all. Her father was not with it. Her father felt like, y'all have been friends since y'all were born. Y'all had plenty of opportunity to date, and y'all never did. So now that she's married, especially to a man that's wrongfully incarcerated, y'all are wrong for doing this, which I completely agree with him. I feel like I just wish she would have been more honest with her husband, to be honest with you, because when she did tell him that she didn't want to be with him anymore, she blamed it on him being incarcerated. When in actuality, we later find out he got sentenced to 12 years. He ends up getting out in less. I'm not going to tell you how much less. But when you do the math, she started dating the other guy 2 years into her husband's sentence. So, realistically, it has nothing to do with the sentence. 2 years is not a long time. It's not a long time when it's your husband. I can see if it was just a boyfriend, maybe. I can see if it's a friend, a cousin, and you get tired of talking to them. But 2 years is really not a lot of time. It's really, really not a lot of time. So, to me, Celestial was a very, very selfish character, and I feel like her father spoke to that as well. Because the part where her father basically tells her that he shouldn't have allowed her basically to do what she wanted to do her whole life. He basically tells her, like, he shouldn't have allowed her to just live her life how she wants to live it for so long, because now you basically feel like you can just do whatever you want and that the world revolves around you. I'm actually trying to find the part. Okay, here I am. I found the part. So I'm going to tell you exactly what her father said. Exactly what her father said. Because I respected him so much. Okay, here it is. So basically, they're at Thanksgiving dinner, and Andre has proposed to Celestial, and they also just found out that Roy is about to get out of jail, and they're also announcing to their family that they're getting married, to Celestial's family that they're getting married. So it says, my father set his dry glass beside his untouched cake. It's not right, he said casually. Ladybug, I can't co-sign this one. You can't marry Andre if you already have a husband. I'm willing to take responsibility for my part in this. I indulged you since you were a little girl, so you think every day is supposed to be the weekend. But this is reality. You can't always get what you want. I absolutely loved her father. I absolutely loved her father. I felt like he was very fair. He was very, very fair. Because for him, it's about right and wrong. It's not about emotion and all of that extra stuff. Like you said, y'all had the chance to date and y'all chose not to, and you think you just can have whatever you want. And like I said, I do not like Celestial as a character. Even to the end of the book, I didn't like Celestial. Also, we find out in the beginning of the book, Celestial and her mother-in-law, which is Roy's mother, Olive, did not have a good relationship. And I said, when I was talking to my friend, I said, I wonder if there's a reason why his mother didn't like her. I wonder if it was something like that she felt was off, or if something happened, like why didn't she like the girl? Because in the beginning of the book, they blame it on the fact that they don't have kids, and they feel like that's why his parents don't care for her, because she doesn't have a child. Later on in the book, Roy's mother, unfortunately, like I said, spoiler alert, do not watch this if you have not read the book, or if you don't want certain parts to be ruined. I'm not telling all the great details, but if you don't want certain parts to be ruined, don't read the book. But basically, Roy's mother ends up dying while he was in prison. She had, I think, lung cancer. She ended up dying while he was in prison. And when he got out and he went and confronted Celestial, he was trying to find something in his belongings. And then looking through his belongings, he found a letter that his mother had wrote to him before he married Celestial. And basically in the letter, the mother is talking about how she feels like her son is embarrassed of them, because like I said, well, I didn't say in this video, like I said, it's like take 3 or 4, but he had basically, Roy was from LO, Louisiana. I hope I'm saying it properly, and she was from Atlanta, and her father came into some money, so she was pretty well off. Her father was a scientist, and she was pretty well off, versus him coming from a not poverty level, but it was like, you know, like country middle class level, where, you know, they work day in and day out, and it's nothing fancy, and it's not anything extra, but it's enough love and enough provision for him to be happy with his childhood. So basically, in his mother letter, she's basically talking about feeling like her son was embarrassed, basically, of them, because he had been to meet Celestial's family, but they had not Celestial had not been to meet his family. So his mother basically was saying, like, you know, let us meet her. Like, I promise I'll be nice. Let us meet her. Are you embarrassed? Like, that type of thing. And she also basically tells him that she had some dreams concerning her. I'm going to see if I can find it. So she basically says, Roy, in her letter, in his mother's letter, she says, Roy, I cannot say an ill word against a woman that I have not met, but my spirit is troubled. Your father says that I do not want you to grow up. He points out that a lot of spirits are troubled when him and myself jumped the broom, but I would not be your caring mother if I didn't tell you that my dreams have come to me again. I know you don't believe in science, so I'm not going to tell you the nitty-gritty, but I'm so worried about you, son. Your father could be right. I admit to holding on to you a little close. Maybe when I meet Celestial, I'll be easy again. I'll rest easy again. She does sound nice from what you say. I hope her parents won't think your father and me are a couple of little country mice. So basically, his mother is a God-fearing woman, basically. And basically, God revealed to her, the Holy Spirit made it clear to her that something wasn't right and that something negative was going to happen out of their relationship. And in fact, that is what happened. Thank God that it didn't play out in the way that it could have played out. But if you read it to the end, basically, when Roy goes to confront Celestial, he gets mad and he plans on leaving. But Andre, okay, so the way it works is Andre goes to LO to try to talk to Roy about it before he gets to Celestial. I'm thinking his logic was that he was going to convince Roy to just let it go, and that be that. But that's not how it went. So basically, Roy and his father tricked him or whatever. So basically, they did it where Andre was in LO at the same time that Roy was in Atlanta. So that way, Roy was able to go talk to his wife without the interference of Andre. Which the sad part is, in the very beginning of the book, when Roy first got locked up, that's the first thing he said to Celestial. Like, I know I love Andre, he's cool and all, but can you come visit me the first time by yourself? And it's actually pretty sad that he felt she wouldn't allow them to have their time without him being in the mix. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of already alludes to knowing the type of friendship they had or whatever. And basically, Roy and Andre get in a fight. Roy literally almost beats Andre to death. Like, literally, that's how bad it gets. The police show up and everything, but they act like nothing is wrong because at that point they're not fighting anymore. They're just talking. And Celestial basically chooses, not Andre, she chooses Roy and basically feels like, she chooses Roy and she feels like it's because it's the right thing to do. And in her choosing Roy realized that it was a forced choice and not a choice of the heart. And I have so much respect for Roy. He was definitely my favorite character because he was very realistic but also very mature as a man. When he realized that she was forcing herself to be with him, instead of allowing her to continue that way, instead of getting angry at her, instead of doing anything ridiculous, he understood and he let the relationship go. And they end up divorcing. And it wasn't necessarily a sloppy divorce because he basically told her, it's the part where he basically tells her that he never raped that girl. And she's like, yeah, I know. She basically was like, yeah, I believe you. But what he basically said to her was, he said, listen to what I'm about to say. He said, Celestial, I'll never force myself upon a woman. I removed her two frightened hands from my body and held them between my own. Do you hear me? I will not force you. Even if you let me, even if you want me to, I will not do it. So basically the whole thing is, because Celestial felt a level of obligation to him, she felt bad for him, pity, she decided that it would be best to be with him instead of being with Andre. And when he realized that, when he noticed in her body language, which just says a lot to him as a man, just being so attentive to his wife and also just being so mature, he could tell that there was a difference in her. He could tell that she wasn't truly happy. And he said that line to her in the midst of them about to have sex. And he didn't want to do it because he knew everything was forced. And although he wasn't putting a knife to her throat and forcing her to have sex with him, the emotion of the situation was still forced. So I respect him a lot by saying he didn't rape that woman and he's not going to rape her either. And he even says in that area, he says something like, I could take it if I want to, but I'm not. Oh, no, that's another part. He's like, I could take it if I want to, but I'm not. So I just really have a lot of respect for him morally. And it just even reiterates the fact that he did not rape that woman because he just did not have the heart to do something so unnecessary and so forced. So, with that being said, I really loved Roy. I loved both sets of parents. I loved Mr. Banks, who was the lawyer, and his wife, and I also loved Roy's biological father, because that was a cool point, too. We end up meeting who his biological father is and getting a taste of his personality as well as his side of the story as to why he walked away from Roy's mother when she was pregnant with him. The only thing is this book is told in multiple perspectives. So it flips from Celestial to Andre to Roy. It flips through all of their point of views, which is normally cool, but what I didn't like about it was a lot of backtracking and it was a lot of dragging. So like I said, this book has a lot of great points, but I feel like my favorite author is Tracy Brown, and As an author, Tracy Brown gives you a reason to love every character. She gives you a reason to understand them, I should say. Characters to me should be like family. They should be completely like a family. You don't like every member of your family, but you love them as your family and you accept them for who they are. So your cousin may not be the person that you gonna call and tell all your business to, but they the person that you still gonna be happy came to the family reunion. You know what I'm saying? And that's how Tracy Brown's books are. But for me, with this book, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel any connection to I didn't really feel a deep connection to any of them. Morally, I felt connected to Roy. You know what I'm saying? Because morally, you're looking at it like, oh, like she played him. But I wish Celestial was more lovable. I wish she had more of a background to make us understand why. Like, just I don't know. I just didn't feel really a connection to any of the characters. Like I said, it had a lot of good plot points. It had a lot of good events, a lot of plot twists, a lot of surprising factors in it. But overall, this is not a book that I would sit and read in one day. This is something I read a couple pages, get bored, sit down. Read a couple pages, get bored, and sit down. Because it does a lot of backtracking, especially when she's flipping from character to character perspective. So it's not the best book to me. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about the writing style. I think the overall writing style is good, but like I said, I just feel like it had a lot of details that kind of drug in rather than felt purposeful necessarily. So it was a lot of like kind of dragging pieces. It was a lot of forced reading, like you have to force yourself to read just to get to the thing. And then, like I said, the synopsis on the back kind of takes away from a lot of the suspense. So you guys comment below, tell me what you think, and let me know, your feelings. The next book I'm about to start is called The Land of Shadows by Rachel Housel Hall. I'm going to include the link in the bottom, so in case anybody cares about these or likes to listen, you can go ahead and read that with me, and that way when I drop my review, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, like I said, let me know what you guys think. If you have any specific books, I don't know why it's falling like that. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any specific books that you think are really great reads, please comment below and let me know. If you have any books that you want me to review, comment below and let me know. And then also, just let me know how many stars would you give it. What's your opinion of the book? What did you think of it? And what do you think of this author? Have you read anything else by her? Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.